Hi students, this is Mrs. Show. Today we're going to learn how to solve compound inequalities, and we're also going to write inequalities for graphs. So we're working on chapter 2, section 5, and this is the second day. So as we look at our first two problems, I just want you to watch. I don't want you to copy anything down. We're going to start with a graph and we're going to write an inequality to represent the graph. So if you look at number 11, I'm noticing 4 has an open circle. That means it can't equal 4, and it's shaded to the left. So the numbers in the shaded region are less than 4. But they're also greater than -3. And it can't equal -3 because it's an open circle. So I want to write an inequality that shows that x is less than 4 and also greater than -3. Here's one way to write that. X is less than 4, and if I read it backwards here, x is greater than -3. I could have also started with x is greater than -3 here. Okay, so x has to be greater than -3 and less than 4. Okay, so either way would be fine. If you look at number 12, I'm looking at the number line and I'm noticing 1 has a closed circle. It can equal 1 and it's shaded to the right. That means x is greater than or equal to 1. And then I'm also noticing the -2 has an open circle, so it can't equal -2 and it's shaded to the left. So that means x is less than -2. It can't equal it. This is going to be an or, because numbers can't be greater than or equal to 1 and less than -2. So the number has to be greater than or equal to 1 or less than -2. Okay, I'm going to have you try these two. So pause the video, write your two inequalities. When you get done, push play. Okay, let's see how we did. So on number 13, x has to be less than 6, but it's also greater than or equal to 3. And there are two ways to write this, so either way is fine. And check 14, x is greater than 1 or it's less than -3. Okay, let's do 15 together. 15 has fractions, but we're going to solve it the same way. So go ahead and write in your notebook number 15. -4/3 is less than or equal to 1/7 w minus 3/4, which is less than 1. Okay, our first step is add or subtract. So first, let's add 3/4 to all parts. Plus 3/4, plus 3/4, plus 3/4. Okay, on the left, we have a 1 3/4. We bring down the same symbol. -3/4 and +3/4 cancels, and we have a 1/7 w. We bring down the same symbol. Now when I add -4/3 and 3/4, I need a common denominator. You can also use your calculator, that's fine. When you use your calculator, you would use your A, B/C button. But if I'm not using a calculator, I would need a common denominator. So let's see, 3 times 4 is 12, so 4 times 4, that would be a -16. 4 times 3 is 12, 3 times 3 is 9. -16 plus 9 would be -7 plus. Okay, now we only have one more step. So we have a 1/7 times w, that means multiply. So in our heads, we're thinking we're going to do the opposite of multiplying, we're going to divide. But we really don't divide fractions, we change it to times the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 7. Okay, so when I do this on the left, I can't cancel my 7s because they're both in the numerator. I'm going to get a -49/12 because that's 7/1. The middle would be w. And on the left, what I'm going to have to do is make 1 3/4 improper. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. This would be a 7/4 times 7/1. That would be a 49/4. You can enter it like that, or you can make them mixed numbers. 12 goes into 49 4 times, so it'd be negative 4. 4 times 12 is 48 with 1 left over. Is less than or equal to W, which is less than, let's see, 12 times 4 is 48. So I have 1 left over. Either way would be fine. All right, let's try 16 together. Sometimes we're going to have word problems. The force exerted on a spring is proportional to the distance the spring is stretched from its relaxed position. Suppose you stretch a spring a distance of d inches by applying force of F pounds. For your spring, force equals distance divided by 0.8. You apply forces between 25 and 45 or 40 pounds inclusive. That means it includes them. What inequality describes the distance though? Okay, so first of all, they're telling us the force, F is the force, is between 25 and 40 pounds. Inclusive means it includes 25 and 40. So F is less than or equal to 40, but greater than or equal to 25. So that's my inequality showing the force. But the question wants to know what inequality describes the distance. Well, the force is the same as the distance divided by 0.8. This force right here is the same as the distance divided by 0.8. So what I'm doing is I'm just substituting in d over 0.8 for the force, because it's telling me in this equation the force is the same as the distance divided by 0.8. Okay, and then I'm going to solve this inequality for d. Okay, there's only one step to solve for d. What I'm going to do is multiply by 0.8. I'm doing the opposite of dividing by 0.8. I'm multiplying by 0.8. So if you take your calculator or multiply out as 0.8 times 25, you should be getting 20 is less than or equal to, in the middle, we'll just have d, is less than or equal to, and then when I take 40 times 0.8, I'll have a 32. So that means the distance is less than or equal to 32 inches, but greater than or equal to 20 inches. Okay, look at number 17. Solve and graph. So I'm going to go ahead and have you pause the video after you write this down. And then when you get done solving and graphing it, hit play. Okay, let's see how we did. So this is one big compound inequality. You can solve it all together by taking away 1, then dividing by -2. But the important thing here is when you divide by -2, you have to switch these signs. So these signs have to switch. So remember, if you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip your sign. So see if you got x is greater than or equal to -4 and less than 2. The graph would have an open circle at 2, shaded to the left, and a closed circle at -4, shaded to the right. All right, you try number 18. This one says or. So after you write the problem down, pause the video. When you get done, click play, and we'll see how we did. Okay, let's see how we did. So in the first inequality, you're going to subtract 1 and divide by 2. You don't flip the sign when you divide by 2, so you should have a p is less than -4. On the second inequality, you subtract 3 and divide by a -2. So you had to flip it to make it p is greater than or equal to 2. Check your graph. Do you have a closed circle at 2 shaded to the right, and an open circle at -4 shaded to the left? So the numbers have to be greater than or equal to 2 or less than -4. It can't be both. Okay, look at number 20. Okay, write down number 20 in your notebook. Go ahead and solve and graph. When you get done, push play. Okay, let's see how we did. So your first step was to use the distributive property. You take a half times 4x to get 2x, a half times 16 to get 8. Then you take away 8 from all three parts to get a negative 20 is less than 2x, which is less than 10. Divide by 2. If you divide by a positive 2, you don't flip. So your answer should be negative 10 is less than x, which is less than 5. So x is a number that's less than 5, open circle at 5, shaded to the left, but also greater than negative 10, open circle at negative 10, shaded to the right. Okay, so hopefully you feel really good about solving compound inequalities. You're putting 3 fingers up if you really understand this, 2 if you sort of are getting it, and 1 if you need more help. So if you feel like a 1, what I would suggest is go back, okay, and go through the video again and make sure you understand. Okay, when you're ready, you're going to do the 2-5 big ideas assignment. So you're going to big ideas, you're doing 2-5, numbers 4 to 30 even.